Yep.
I grew up.
Really? Wow.
I remember them talking.
Oh, wow.
It was all good. So weird.
Oh, no, I'm still on the board. It's hot. No, it's hot. It's another.
Well, you can never say no. I can just tell you how many times. Yeah, number 2.
All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for coming. Good to be back, mostly. I missed all my friends here at Congregation Beth Abraham, and it's really wonderful. It's been wonderful to see everybody, wonderful to see you all here tonight. I'll explain this new talit later, one of a couple I got. But, of course, it's wonderful. Well, actually, I'll say this again later, but I'll say it now. I can't thank the congregation, the leadership, enough for just allowing me and Karen to take 5 months of sabbatical. It's so appreciated. It's such a wonderful experience that we'll always cherish. And, I didn't do anything in particular. There's no project, but I was busy the entire time. Lots of study, what we call Torah Lishma, Torah for the sake of itself, just learning for fun. And I'll describe that on my holidays. I'll describe that a little bit tomorrow. But it was just really, really amazing. It's good to be back and into the swing of things. I'm mostly over jet lag even, so I'm in good shape. So I can't not do. I have to do one new tune, right? But it's funny. We went to a different synagogue every single Shabbat. We repeated a couple at the end, but unlike last time, there weren't a lot of tunes that in particular stuck with us. So the tune I'm going to do, which is it's going to be a nigun. It's going to start as a nigun, a melody without words, but then we're going to use it for the Chadodi as well. It's actually a tune that I knew from Camp Ramah, but I'd never heard it to the Chadodi. So that's what we're going to do tonight, and everything else will be very familiar. It goes like this. Shabbat Kodesh. Shabbat Kodesh. Just do that a couple more times. Shabbat Kodesh. Shabbat Kodesh. We'll hear it again when we get to the Charodi. Page 1, Yedid Nefesh, the additional soul that we get on Shabbat. Also, special thank you not just to the congregation and the leadership, but also especially to the main Friday night crew, Marshall, Langfeld, and Paul, and Jacqueline. I noticed that Marshall and Jacqueline are taking advantage of the time to rest. Yedid Nefesh Avarahman, Yedid Nefesh Avarahman, Mishon Avdecha, Eretz Onecha, Mishon Avdecha, Eretz Onecha. Let's jump to page 5. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai Haaretz Shemo Asru B'yom V'yom Yeshuato Safru Magayim Kevodo Yigadol Adonai, U'olam Me'od, Norahu, Al Kol Elohim, Ay, Tikom Elohim, Ha'amim Ehilim, Adonai Shamayim Asaf, Kol Adon Le'echana, Over Tiferet Be'mikdasho, Amul Adonai B'Kvei Amim, Amul Adonai Kavod Va'oz, Amul Adonai Kevod Shemo, Zeru Mincha, Uvol Echatzrotav, Ay, Ishtachavu Adonai Be'adar Kodesh, Ilu Mipanav Kol Haaretz, Imru Bagoyim, Adonai Malach, Achtikom Tevel Altivot, Yadim Amim, V'Neshari, Yitru Hashamayim, V'Tagel Haaretz, Nihal Mayam, U'Melohot, Yalot Sadai, V'Kol Asher Bo, Ay, Az Yevanu, Kol HaZeyat, Dikhen Adonai Kiva, Kiva, Lishvot Haaretz, Lishvot Tedel V'Tzedek, Ve'amim, Ve'emunato, Enai, age 13. So just a quick memory. I mean, last time, my first sabbatical was in 2011, and we came back and we really got to know this version, the Shlomo Carlebach version of Mizmor LaDavid, and Jonah really got to know him. He led it for like, 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Up here, starting when he was very, very young.
And
then it was passed on to lots of other people, like
then this time
this time, but
they changed when you.
yeah, this time some of the synagogues changed where the rhythm was and where they changed the words. It was odd. He's good and jolly, Adonai Beni, All right, as we turn to Chadodit, one other quick story, which is that it doesn't hurt to play guitar, because last time when I was on sabbatical, I did not bring a guitar or have a guitar, and I lost about 35 plus years of calluses on my fingers. And so this time, I bought one in Israel, a pretty cheap guitar, about 400 shekels, which is about $120 or something, because it's actually cheaper to buy one there than to transport it both ways because of the amount of stuff that I had. And I used it with the congregation trip and played once in a while, so I would still maintain the calluses. And I gave it to a family that we know that has 6 kids, all of whom are musicians, and could use another guitar lying around the house, with the stipulation that when I come back and visit Israel and I use the guitar, I have a guitar there. So, very, very pleased with that purchase.
Such a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Contributing to the Israeli economy, which we did many, many ways.
That was our job.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to do the Nigun again, and then we're going to go into the Chadodit, first 2 and last 2 verses. Let Rise and face the entrance, welcoming the Shabbat bride. Say hello to Emmett back there. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We may be seated.
Where was that tune from? Where did we learn?
Which synagogue did it? There? I'm not even sure. It was much on the later side of the. We'll have to go back and try to check. Was it Shir Hadash, Shirah Hadashah? Two different places, by the way. All right, page 19. Mizmor shir yom ha-Shabbat, tov le'odov le'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, le'hakri b'boker chasecha, ve'emunatcha b'aleinu. Continue on our own, page 19. Tzadika tamarika ka'eret balanon iskeshetulim b'nei Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Yisrael Okyam V'Kolomani Chaim Rabim Adim Mishperecha Adir B'Marom Adonai Eirotecha Ne'enu Me'od L'Reitecha Kodesh Adonai Le'orech Yamim. So we're going to rise to the Baruch Hu, but thinking of the rushing waters, my two favorite Kabbalat Shabbat Friday night places this time were in Jerusalem, a place called, not Mayado, but Yakar, which was in the Rehavi neighborhood. It's Orthodox, which is not a problem, except that some Orthodox synagogues, at least for me, some Orthodox synagogues have good mechitzas where you can see, and some have terrible ones where you can't see. This one has a terrible one, but their singing is the best, like, maybe in the world. I mean, it's just really, really, the multiple harmony, everybody at the top of their lungs, just amazing.
Soulful.
Very soulful. The second one, well actually, second one in Tel Aviv, which I didn't imagine, but in July and August they have Shabbat services on the beach, on the northern port, and it's like a rock and roll Shabbat, and so they have a full band, really well done, really beautiful. You're looking at the Mediterranean Sea. They have an artist most weeks, like a famous Israeli artist, and they actually do a couple of their more spiritual songs, kind of like when we honor musicians here, for instance, but you actually have the musicians and they're alive, and they're doing it.
And their most famous songs.
And yeah, often their most famous songs, so Jacob, happy birthday. And it's really quite incredible. So that
And watch the sunset.
you get to watch the sunset as you're doing it. So I'm full of just a few stories tonight. So this artist was playing, and unfortunately I can't remember his name at the moment, but I asked the greeters who were teenagers, "Do you know who this is?" And they just looked at each other blankly, no idea. And then someone overheard me, "Yeah, that's so and so. They're incredibly famous. They had, like."
Yoav Goen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, so very famous person, but the teens had no idea who he was, and that goes across that international border. There was one other, but the very best Friday night service is just a one-time thing, which was, it was just with my 19-year-old yeshiva classmates from the old city. They did a Kabbalat Shabbat. They did it on their own often. I only went to their last one, so it was their last one. They're 19. They know all the prayers. It was just insanely raucous in every good way. So, what was that?
Where did they do it?
Inside their yeshiva in the old city called Oraita, which is really, really, really well done. So anyway, yeah, there we go. Page 22. Please rise from Baruch. Baruch Hu et Adonai May be seated. Asher b'Marom Arim Re'yom v'layla mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or v'yom v'vin layla v'avdil bin yom u'vein layla Adonai tzvaot shemo v'chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam v'ed Baruch atah Adonai Amarim Amin. Page 25. Continue on our own. Page 27. Emet, you hear your name back there? I think you did. Yeah. That's you. Page 32. Page 33. Hashkivenu Adonai. start on this side. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Please rise for the Shamru. And actually, I'll give you just a minute warning. So Isaac and Aurel, you're going to be leading Chatzi Kaddish coming up. Okay. Forthcoming bar mitzvahs, wedding mitzvah, they're going to be leading the Chatzi Kaddish tonight.
Yikara Shemera. Amen. Yivrach Yirtzeh V'Amich Malchuteh Lecha Lecha U'Chayei B'Chol Beit Yisrael V'Adala U'Vizman Kari V'Neru Amen V'Hishmei Rama Mevorach Le'olam Yiparach, Yishtabach, Yipar, Yikram, Yitaseh, Yitatar, Yitaleh, Yitalash, Mirikrisha, Borichu, Le'elam, Yikol, Bechata, B'shirata, Tush, Bechata, B'nechemata, Dam, Yiran, B'alma, Yiberu, Amen.
Up page 37 through 48. 37 through 48. v'imolav. Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, aleinu. Amen. So that Oseh Shalom comes from the Nava Tehillah, once a month, sometimes twice a month, the Kabbalat Shabbat community there. But you know who doesn't do that Oseh Shalom anymore? Nava Tehillah, the ones who made it famous. So, anyway, but that.
Well, when they do Oseh Shalom, they might still do that too.
I guess, but their Kabbalat Shabbat consists of a little selection from each of the psalms that precede L'Chadodi and L'Chadodi, and that's kind of it. And that takes about an hour and a half, or maybe, yeah. It's a lot of lai.
And dancing.
And dancing. I mean, the spirit's incredible, but you don't necessarily feel like you've prayed or done the required. You might feel like you prayed, but not done the required prayers, which you might miss. And I missed hearing this, so we had to do it ourselves. And we thought we'd get the original, but no such luck. But we're going to proceed to Kaddish Shalem. We skipped the Matbeh Tefillah today because we have some other stuff to do. We'll get back to it next week. Page 53. Yikra v'yikra Shemei Rabba. Amen. Yomani Rabbi Yertevim L'chmachutei L'chayachon K'mechem L'chayachon Beit Yisrael. Magalav Yizman Karibim Meru. Amen. Yei Shmei Rabba Mevorach. Ve'olam Olam Me'om Maya Yitbarach. Ishtabach, Barbara Ramina Sevi, Darvin Levi, Talosh Made Kudisha, Olam Kobra Khatav Shira Touch, Khatamata Tamiram Vimeru, Amen. Sultan Voton Fosha, Ramavandi Vishmaya Vimeru, Amen. Isham Rabbi Shamaya, Khamravel Koisra Vimeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Imramav, Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleni Vel Koisra Vel, Koish Betevel, Vimeru, Amen. So tomorrow I will be telling much more about my experience in Israel, but actually I have to put this on so you can hear me. Tonight, just for a couple minutes, I'm actually going to tell the story of this talit, because in telling the story of this talit, it actually says a lot about Israel and my experience, and really everyone's experience in Israel. So you can see a new talit. First of all, as many of you know, I can't go to Israel without coming back with a new talit or two, a new kippah or 12, and yeah, that's just how it works. And whereas I had a wonderful visit with the Howard Zangel and Stacy Margolin, we walked a lot around Jerusalem. Howard stops and smells the flowers. I stop and shop the kippot. I mean, it's the way it works. We different styles, different stops on our walks.
And you read the menus.
I do also read all the menus. That's the only thing that slows me down. So I wanted a new talit, and I heard that there was. Well, first of all, you can I don't know if you can see, but there's musical notes on this, so I figured this would be a regular Friday night talit since I use the guitar and we do lots of special music. So that's why I chose this particular design. It's not custom made, it's one of these talit makers' designs. This is a talit maker in a moshav in the southern part of Israel on the border of the Gaza Strip. When you read about the conflict with Hamas in the Gaza Strip and the bombs, the rockets that are sent from the Gaza Strip, that's where they go. all right? It's really just over the border. Sderot is sort of the main town nearby. It's about 20 minutes away. That moshav may be, which is called Teshuvah, I believe, or Shuvah, maybe even closer to the Gaza Strip than this one is. So I ordered these 2 talitot, and at some point I was going to pick them up. Now, when do you pick them up, right? So you want to make sure that there's no terrorism, there's no particular conflict with Hamas, because every few months there will be terror attacks from Hamas. There'll be a series of rockets. So that's the first thing you have to know. I need to drive down south, have to prepare to rent a car, which you need to do for 3 days because otherwise you have to pay per kilometer. And I know that's neither here nor there, but I'm telling you about what it actually is in Israel. So I want to plan a trip around this, but I have to plan it where I think there's not going to be, where it's not going to be bombs, there's not the congregational trip, there's whatever. There's the timing issue. And terrorism is a part of it. You're buying from a guy who makes them, he has a staff too. They've got these giant looms right there. We're able to go in and see his, how he does it. I mean, it's just incredible. He trained in Sfat with a talit maker called Canaan. There's a talit maker in Sfat called Canaan. Those are like $1,000, those talits. He's an apprentice, was an apprentice. He makes his own on the Moshav. It's less touristy. It's pretty hard to get down there. Nobody goes down there. But that's where, of course, I ended up getting the talit. Now, when I went down there, I'm like, well, I can't just go down south and just get a talit. I got to figure something else out to do. So I arranged a visit to the Yatir winery. The Yatir winery is in the Yatir forest, which is a 100% human-invented forest in the south, in the desert of Israel. And they make beautiful wine there, particularly blends, red. I mean, they have white wines too, but the Yatir Forest blend is my very, very favorite wine. And I digress with yet another story on a story, but when a guy named Denny Avila, who is a basketball player for the Washington Wizards, when he was drafted and I was watching the draft, he's sitting in a restaurant and behind him are like 100 bottles of the Yatir Forest blend, right? So I know this is like a really good wine. Anyway, delicious stuff. I came back with the wine. Now, what you'll also notice are these tzitzit have blue in them. And if you don't know this, it says in the Torah that there's supposed to be a blue thread, patil techelet, on your talit, on the fringes, on the tzitzit. The thing is, for years nobody did this because it's a very particular blue dye that we think comes from some particular sea creature, and they don't know if the creature still exists or if it was the right dye. So it's actually still controversial, but at some point somebody discovered and they thought that it was the same thing. So I didn't get it with this, but a guy named Eliezer Cohen, who is Rabbi Eliezer Cohen, who is the NCSY director here in Oakland and has taught a few classes here, he's a talit specialist himself. And he says, hey, when you got your talits, did you get the patil techelet on? And I said, I didn't. Well, how would you like me to tie them on in Jerusalem, adding holiness to holiness? And so the week before I left, he tied on these blue patil techelet, and thus I now have the musical talit from the talit maker in the south of Israel, on the Moshav, with the giant loom, all handmade. You can only go to them when there aren't terror attacks, and you end up putting all that together, and you get a little bit, plus great wine, and you get somewhat of the experience in Israel. Now tomorrow I'm going to be talking particularly about 3 different aspects: the spirituality, normality, and abnormality, right? Because all those things are very evident. Right? It is the most spiritual place that certainly I can imagine. It's very easy to be Jewish there. I felt it every moment, every day, really, I did. It's also much more normal than anybody ever imagined. You're reminded that when you walk around there. There's just happy people living happy lives. The abnormality is it's a really controversial and difficult time to be there because of the internal conflicts which Israel is having over judicial reform. I'm not going to get into the entire thing tonight, and you're going to hear a song about it in just a few minutes. So anyway, that all comes from the Talit, and a little more tomorrow: spirituality, normality, abnormality. Stay tuned. Shabbat Shalom. All right. We're going to continue with the Kiddush on page 55. Paul, would you like to lead us in Kiddush? Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitzanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yavod ratzon yichilanu zikaron l'ma'aseh Bereshit hu yom tefillah v'mikra'ei kodesh Zecher Tzion Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Etanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shamat kodshecha V'yavad ratzoni Nichaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Lekadesh Hashem.
If you are near your children, you can bless them, and there are 3 babies in the room who I've never met before tonight, so it's exciting. A couple more pregnant people. B'Shat Tova, very, very exciting as well. People got married while I was away, so lots of wonderful, wonderful things. And we put our hands on their heads and we say, Simcha Elohim, Ephraim Elohim Menashe, Yisimech Elohim, Sarah, Torah, Rachel, Leah, Berech Hanai, Mishrecha, Yerenai, Rebecca, Son, and Yisemach Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. Amen. Remain standing for the Aleinu, page 57. Aleinu Shalom, Aleinu Bereshit, Shalom Asan Mikre Aratzon, Velo Samanu Mishpachot Adama, Shalom San Chelkeinu Kanem, Vego Aleinu Kechol Amonam, Vanachnu Holy, V'nishtachim U'Hashim, Leaving Melech, Amrei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, She'eruno B'Shamayim V'Yosef Haaretz, U'Moshe B'Karo B'Shamayim B'Ma'al, U'Shechinah Tuzo, V'Go'ei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Echad Karatu B'Torato Ke'avayam Ve'Hashimotav Elevakecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim V'Shamayim B'Ma'al Ve'Haaretz Mitachah Edom. may be seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yorksites we observe in the coming week, thinking especially today of Abe Backman, David Berkovich, Ellen Berkovich, Gertrude Blyberg, Irving Mayer Burt, David Cooper Smith, Marshall Denenberg, Pearl Epperson, Robert Firestein, Carl Freeman, Lev Gelfand, Arthur Glazer, Daniel Goldfein, Lena Goldman, Seymour Goldstone, Johnny Holton, David Herman Klein, Dorothy Levine, Leah Levine, Edward Miller, Maury Pulse, Hannah Ethel Roth, Harry Rubin, Saul Seltzer, Catherine Seif, Harry Tuman, Kay Warren. We are in the Shloshim 30 mourning period for Faye Ramsaw, the mother of Roberta Macia. Roberta, thoughts are most definitely with you. Martin Cohen, the father of Alden Cohen, and Donald Schaefer, the father of Robin Hoodis. The memories of all who are with us. We ask all those who are in the mourning or observing yard site, as well as anyone else who would choose to do so, to rise for the Kaddish of this. Yid Gadal, V'Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'Alma Divrah Pirutei, Ve'Amlit Machutei, Ve'Chayekon V'Yomecho, Ve'Edecho Beit Yisrael, V'Galav Yizman Kariv Yimru, Ve'Eshtei Rabbah V'Rah, Ve'Olam Me'Amaya, Yipra, V'Shvah, V'Pa'ar, V'Tormam, V'Naseh, V'Tadar, V'Taleh, V'Talal, Shmei V'Shah, La'ela Mikol Berchata, V'Shirata, Tushbechata, V'Nechemata, Damiran V'Ama V'Yimru. Amen. Ye'eh Shlama Rama Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Rama, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru. Amen. Remember that we come to say Kaddish for be a blessing to you always. And let us say Amen. Amen. Some announcements. There's challah for after services. Tomorrow's services are at 9:30. Garden starts this week. Our preschool starts on Wednesday, August 9th, and Thursday, August 10th for the Kippah Aleph, the smaller ones. Next Friday night, there will be Kabbalat Shabbat. It'll be more like a family service. We may have BA singers out there. It'll be outside. And there will be pizza dinner following, sponsored by the women of TBA. And next Saturday, August 12th, in addition to our President David Goodwin and Stella Goodwin sponsor the Kiddush in honor of their daughter Sophie's wedding, there will be Mahjong. Wednesday, August 16th, we're having a couple of speakers from Dror Yisrael. They're an organization that receives a fair amount of funding from the San Francisco Federation. It's a kind of a progressive organization in Israel. They especially deal with schools and social schools, they call them. It's a really unique thing, the way they're really communities that they're building at these schools for diverse kids, kids who have not done so well in other schools, some kids who just want a more diverse environment. And the class sizes there are more like 25 instead of 45 or so, which is what your average Israeli class size is, which sounds terrible. It is, but because of that, they create independent thinkers and entrepreneurs. I know, it's a contradiction. You can ask them about it when they come, but they will be speaking about their education system, but they're also going to be speaking about the protest movement in Israel, in particular, of which they are very involved. And Thursday, August 17th, Men's Club Poker. Saturday, August 19th, Joel J. Pizer will be sponsoring the Kiddush in honor of Joel's birthday. He's leading much of the service. Looking forward to that. And August 26th, Bar Mitzvah of Isaac Brown. Lots of good stuff coming up. All right. A couple songs tonight. The first one is the song that's been adopted by the Israeli protest movement. It's called Ein Li Eretz Acheret. We have no other country. And it was originally a song, a protest song for the Lebanon War, but it's become a song of the protest movement also. No, they don't want to give up on the country. And one of the ways you can tell that their phase is very different, it's a populist movement that's creating the judicial reform, but they're kind of more right-wing. The categories aren't exactly the same as the United States, but anyway. But both the left and the right wing are trying to own the flag. If you see like a sea of Israeli flags, you can't be sure whether it's a right-wing protest or left-wing protest in Israel. And this country, you probably know which it is. And here's the words that I'm going to do part of the song. Here's what it's going to say in English. I have no other country, even if my land is aflame. Just a word in Hebrew pierces my veins and my soul. With a painful body and a hungry heart, here is my home. I will not stay silent because my country changed her face. I will not give up reminding her and sing in her ears until she will open her eyes. So that's the song. Ein li Eretz Acheret גם מאדמתי בוערת רק מילה בעברית חודרת את אורכי אל נשמתי בגוף כואב בלב רעב כאן הוא ביתי לא אשתוק כי ארצי שיטה את פניה לא אוותר להזכיר לה והשיר כאן באוזניה עד שיפתח את עיניה אין לי ארץ אחרת אין לי ארץ אחרת. Just a little taste of that. And the other song, what famous musician died this week? Sinead O'Connor, yes, at the beginning, right before Shabbat. Actually, the other one did too. We didn't find out about it until Shabbat, and I can't do a Sinead O'Connor song on the guitar. But Randy Meisner, who was one of the original Eagles, died. And the song that he actually sings lead on and wrote is about really just enjoying every moment of life. Some of you will know it. Feel free to sing along. It's called Take It to the Limit. And that's the one that's Randy Meisner as opposed to Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Joe Walsh. And if you're new and if you find it weird that we're doing these pop songs at services, it's just what I do. And since I saw it in Tel Aviv, now I feel confident that I'm okay doing it. Right? All alone at the end of the evening, and the bright lights have faded to blue. I was thinking about a woman who might have loved me, but I never knew. You know I've always been a dreamer, spend my life running round. It's so hard to change, can't seem to settle down. But the dreams I've seen lately keep on turning out and burning out and turning out the same. So put me on the highway, show me a sign, and take it to the limit one more time. You can spend all your time making money. You can spend all your love making time. If it all fell to pieces tomorrow, you still be mine. Shabbat Shalom. We'll have challah in the foyer.